Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Azizdrives. Or should I say buongiorno, because today we got the Maserati GranTurismo, the Italian hitman, all right? Before we start the review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to our channel, check out our Instagram, TikTok. Let's begin. Take a moment and have a look at this frame. Just have a look at this pretty beautiful design of that Maserati GranTurismo S. I mean, this is really a beautiful, beautiful car. And the design has been presented from 2007 up until 2019. They produced it for a time span of 12 years. The same car, and I can tell why. It is really a beautiful machine and it is a classic. And the only reason why we have it is because they came originally up with an idea that looked like the Ferrari California. But Ferrari stole the design just like they did with the Roma, and Maserati had to come up with a new idea. And that's why we have it. So out of that point of very rush, they presented this beautiful machine and I love it. I mean, just look at that part. That whole grille resembles Maserati just perfectly. Even going back to the 50s where the Formula 1 cars had a big grille like that. Then the trident here, typical Maserati, of course, the Maserati logo on the top, and hiding this fantastic V8 engine underneath the bonnet, which we're going to talk about a little later. What I also love a lot is beautiful headlight design. I really like the headlights. They have a very nice look. What is very dumb, on the other hand, is this opening here. So while the grid is metal, which I complain about on other Italian cars like the Lamborghini that you have seen, I complained that it is just plastic. Here we have actual metal, but it's not functional. The air doesn't travel through the brakes, which is very dumb because this is a sports car sort of, okay? It's a GranTurismo, of course, but it's still a sporty car. Then we have this beautiful brakes here, 380 millimeters in the front and 360 millimeters in the back from Brembo, which means you can actually get the parts a little bit cheaper if you have to replace them. Of course, the three openings here, typical Maserati, which is very beautiful, designed from Pininfarina. Very beautiful. I really like that part. Everything melts kind of in this beautiful greenhouse here. Very nice separation of the shoulder line, not too broad, very beautiful, and just like a raindrop. It isn't really that in your face, and I can tell why a lot of people mistake a Maserati for an Aston Martin, for example. They have similar proportions, but here this is really something else. This is typical Italian Pininfarina design. Very large engine in the front, very large front part, and then a little bit of a shorter kind of back. Then of course this beautiful massive part here with the fender, very nice melting together. And then when you come back, you have this massive rear end. A little spoiler going upwards, but this part is really manly. Look at that. Very nice taillight. Then this massive exhaust, like not the four exhaust tips as you would see in the normal GranTurismo. This is the S, so it has the big exhaust pipe, and this is also the exhaust you want to get. The loudest, which you're going to hear later. It's crazy loud. The car has actually also a little bit of a practical side because you can actually put two bags in here and you can travel for a longer period of time. That is very nice, and it's very accessible since the car is pretty low. And you also have enough space in the interior. But first, let me pop the hood to show you what the engine is all about on the GranTurismo S. There's a bunch of engine variations that we need to talk about because the GranTurismo, the normal one, has a 4.2 liter. This one is the 4.7 liter, the one you should get. 440 horsepower, 490 newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 kph in 4.9 seconds, and tops out at around 300 kph. But there's two things we need to talk about, and it's the gearboxes. There's two gearbox options for this car. One is the kind of sporty transmission, F1 transmission from Ferrari, which is a single plate clutch. That one is going to be terrible, okay? It's the one that the car has. Of course, it is cooler in the upshifts, but it's going to be a lot of cost for you to replace it. The second one is the ZF Automatic. You can see it when you buy a Maserati GranTurismo Automatica, which was built from 2009. And also in the latest GranTurismo Sport, okay? So get that one because it's a normal ZF Automatic 6-speed that you will get in a BMW, for example, 7 Series F01, or the 3 Series or the DB9. So it's a German engineered transmission, which is very good. The engine comes from a Ferrari, specifically the Alpha Romeo 8C has that engine, and the California has the same engine. Very beautiful. Now, have a listen. right, first of all, I apologize for my red face because it's cold as ice outside, all right? So make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And by the way, check out the driving's review on the Maserati GranTurismo S. It is really incredibly loud, so check it out. So let's begin with the interior. The first time you get in, you're kind of overwhelmed, all right? Especially with this brown color here. But independent of the color, it's kind of overwhelming because you have a lot of colors. You have a lot of things that change that I think are nice, but also I don't like that much. For example, you have a oasis of leather. So many leather parts, they look very nice actually. And the leather feels meaty and chunky, so that is very good. It is a fat leather. The seat is like a couch, which makes it very comfortable. Then you have this part on the side here, also covered in leather, the door handles and all of that. This is beautiful. But there's a bunch of things that I don't like. I love the steering wheel, by the way. This is very nice. I love the pedal shifters that they stuck here on this part where the steering wheel is attached to. Very nice. I love the speedometer in the blue. But then it gets confusing. The problem is this. When you drive this car, it changes the color really a lot. So imagine you drive today in daylight, you have a blue speedometer. When you drive in the night, the speedometer isn't blue anymore and they didn't have white lamps for it. It's green. So that stresses, I don't know why that is, but that stresses me out sort of. I don't like that. I want it to be clean. Then the infotainment system is really the worst infotainment system I've ever seen in my entire life. It is so bad. It's really, really not that good. And it's confusing. You get disco lights when you start the car up. So that is something that I don't like. And I also don't like that this part goes over the screen so I can't even see it fully. I mean, I don't even know how to handle this. And I come from the IT business. So it's not that necessary. And then you have sort of a dark button here that is also very strange because first it just takes away the stuff, the general stuff. And then you will press once again. It darkens the screen. It's really confusing, but nobody buys this car for the infotainment system. And sitting inside is nice. You have two options. You can drive, as you can see here. This is not the Automatica. This is the single clutch F1 gearbox from Ferrari. That's why you have these two buttons. The Automatica, as I told you, is the right choice to go. The one that won't let you fall into a money pit. It's actually a handle that you can pull. So that is the sign for an Automatica. Here we have the F1 gearbox, which means we have two modes. We have auto mode that you can't access from here. You have to go here and press auto. But you would think that those buttons on the side are for this infotainment system, but they're not. They separated it with that silver part here, but it's still confusing. So you press auto, then you can drive it. If you want to drive a manual, you press 1 or you press the pedal up or down, and then you're in manual mode. That is okay. Shifting it, I would only go manual because it's a single clutch. Other than that, it feels nice in here. It really does. We have the black roof, which I like a lot, and that is great. I don't like the materials used. It's kind of wool. I wish they would have used Alcantara, especially the car cost 150,000 new. So that is kind of, strange. But the surprising thing, the most surprising actually, is the space in the back. To access the space in the back, you can just put up this handle. The seat moves forward electronically. And then I sit back and look at that. Look at that. I mean, that is plenty of space for such a sport coupe. And you can, if I move a little bit forward, okay, I can lean back kind of, and it feels comfortable. I don't have a lot of head space, of course, because this part goes really deep down, but it feels comfortable. Children can sit here easily. They have air vents, they have cup holders. That is great. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything we had today with the Maserati GranTurismo. Check out our driving's review, check out the POV. Thank you very much for tuning in. God bless you and see you on the next one. Goodbye.